It's been said that hope is not a strategy, and that may be true. However, it's one of the most powerful motivators in the world. On Unyielding Hope, we're going to take life head on, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We talk about and share stories and experiences of the challenges we face and how you can find hope in the midst of some of your most challenging times and circumstances. So sit back, relax, and get ready for your weekly dose of hope. All right, before we get started, a quick word from our sponsors who make Unyielding Hope possible. Hey, are you a learning-based business owner or a real estate professional? Are you ready to exceed your goals? Well, Cornerstone Coaching is here to help. In the ever-changing real estate market, challenges can often leave you feeling stuck. Cornerstone Coaching simplifies real estate, even in the face of difficulties, to get you unstuck and back on the road to your dreams and goals. Are you struggling with market conditions? They provide coaching that empowers you to lead confidently through their proven process. They help you navigate your clients through fears and objections that they might be feeling. The Cornerstone Coaching approach starts with an in-depth analysis of your business gaps, and from there, they craft a step-by-step plan using their time-tested models, systems, and tools. So if you're ready to embark on your journey to success, Cornerstone Coaching is offering a complimentary 1-hour coaching session for the listeners of this broadcast, Unyielding Hope, to uncover the missing pieces in your business and chart a clear path. Contact them today for your complimentary coaching session and let them know that you heard about it here on Unyielding Hope. Take that crucial step towards your brighter future. Hey, and I'd like to thank another one of our sponsors, Ladder Real Estate of Keller Williams Realty in Coeur d'Alene. The mission at Ladder is helping you turn someday into today, and their vision is that their agents, clients, and communities are empowered to dream big, take action, and live a life filled with purpose, passion, and intention. They accomplish this through their core values of responsibility over excuses, putting the right people in the right roles, and giving back generously to their team, their partners, and their community. It's their commitment to continuous growth and innovation in the inland Northwest. So if you're an agent looking to break past your current ceiling or realize that you're looking for leadership, leverage, leads, and culture, reach out to Ladder today. If you're a buyer, seller, or investor in this market and you're looking for a realtor that'll lead you through the process and help you win in this market, reach out to Ladder Real Estate today and they'll connect you with an agent that's a perfect fit for you. You can contact Ladder at www.ladderrealestate.com or you can call them at 208-667-2399. That's 208-667-2399. Ladder Real Estate of Keller Williams, Coeur d'Alene. Give them a call. Hey everybody, this is Terry Gurno here, and this is another episode of Unyielding Hope, and I'm joined by a good friend, Geoff McLachlan. And Geoff, it's so good to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I've seen actually some of the other episodes, and I've obviously followed your journey. We've been friends for a while now, and first of all, congratulations on everything and being healed up, and that's awesome. And man, it's just good to see you out and about, man, doing stuff, making the world a better place. You
too. You know, you're one of my favorite people. You always bring such great energy to people, no matter where they are, what they're doing, and I love that. I love that about people, and you do that so well. And so I'm super excited to have you here. You know, before we get going, I just want to once again mention our sponsors. That's Cornerstone Coaching with Drew Hopkins. He does a great job. If you're in real estate and you're experiencing the shift in the market and you need some help, Drew is a great person. He's giving a 60-minute free consultation, which is unheard of. Usually it's 15 minutes or 30 minutes. Yeah. So if you can, reach out to Drew. Great guy. And then also I want to say a big shout out to Ladder Real Estate for their sponsorship. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate in North Idaho, or if you're looking to join a great team, Ladder Real Estate is somebody that can help you with either one of those. So anyways, I wanted to get that on there. And Geoff, listen, this is again, Unyielding Hope. And we talk about the whole idea of hope. And I have a quote here from Bernard Williams. He's an English philosopher. And he said, there was never a night or a problem that could defeat sunrise or hope. Let me read that again. There was never a night or a problem that could defeat sunrise or hope. And I love that because, when you think of the sunrise, it's coming no matter what. There's nothing we can do to stop it, slow it down, or anything else that's coming. And hope does that same kind of thing. We know something's coming. It's out there. It's on its way. And I just love that quote right there. But again, going back to you, I just think about what you do. So before we get into that, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I grew up in the area. I'm a native, so I grew up right across the border in Otis Orchards, Washington. My great-grandfather actually bought a little chunk of property on Liberty Lake in 1942. There wasn't a single person on the water. It was basically a giant pond. And so that became his business, and he put a resort there. And I was lucky enough that my grandparents, his daughters, bought the resort from him, and that's where I grew up.
Wow.
And so I grew up in a place that was, one, stunningly beautiful, but I grew up around people, and I got to see all types of people, and we still have family friends that I literally met on the playground there from all over the world.
Wow.
And so that's, I think that gave me a sense of purpose and passion, and it became what I do now, which is the whole play thing. And it's just, I don't know, it's always provided me with joy and happiness. And helping other people find their joy and happiness and passion through play has been probably one of the best things that I've done. And it's just, I love it.
Yeah, and that's the energy that you bring with you wherever you go, is that joy, that happiness, and figuring out how to get people involved in that and take their life from where it is to where it could be, or in some cases, their business, right?
Yeah.
I know you work with a lot of businesses.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Now, you have a family.
I do. I have an amazing family. I'm so grateful. I have a beautiful wife who's a pediatric occupational therapist, and I have two sons. I have a freshman in high school and a sixth grader in middle school here in Coeur d'Alene. And my son's team, actually, I have to give a shout out to the Coeur d'Alene distance team. They just won districts yesterday with a perfect score.
Perfect score.
Perfect score, meaning they got 1st through 7th place.
Wow.
So, their 7th place varsity person beat all the other first place varsity guys in the league. So they actually had 8 out of the 10 top 10 places were Coeur d'Alene high school guys.
That sounds like domination. They dominate.
They're ranked 10th in the country.
Wow.
Yeah, it's one of the few sports in high school that actually has a national ranking is cross country. It's the only sport actually in high school sports that has a national ranking.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
What a great thing for your son to be a part of. What memories he's making and stuff like that. So, wonderful family. And I know you're very involved as a father, very supportive, which is really cool to see and stuff. So, and thank you for that. Now, tell us a little bit about what you do. You've mentioned professionals at play. You've mentioned a little bit of that, but tell us a little bit about what you do.
Oh, man, well, I did say I grew up on the playground. And so I take that spirit and I take what I learned on the playground and I apply it to groups, teams, businesses, schools. And how do we use play to engage each other in meaningful conversations? Or how do we use play as a catalyst for creativity or to move the organization forward?
Yeah.
And so a lot of the times it's like, well, you play. I'm like, yeah, I play. I will actually go in and play with the people, with the team. And it's amazing what happens because when you play, you start to all your barriers start to fall down.
Yeah.
And if you have to have a really challenging conversation, it's much easier to do if you've had moments of joy and laughter with the person beforehand.
Right.
And so think about, if you think about your best friends, the people that you love and care about the most in the world, aside from family, the people that are your chosen family are oftentimes people that you've played with.
Right.
And that play is subjective. It's for you and those people. There's something that you love to do together. Whether that's getting together and talking, there's verbal play, right? There's physical play. There's people like to go out and, get on the water and ski and have fun out there. That's play.
Yeah.
Those things that allow you to be spontaneous in the moment that just bring you a little bit of joy and happiness.
Yeah.
Anything that does that for you is a form of play.
Form of play. It's interesting. A couple of things that just jumped out at me when you were talking about that is, number one, it increases engagement with the people that are involved. And I think one of the biggest challenges of businesses today, and even families, with all the electronics and different things to get our distraction that distract us, is engagement. So whether you're at work, that's a big problem. That's a big challenge right now, is getting their employees engaged. The other thing that you talked about was communication, improving communication, and then also innovation, creativity. So,
Yeah.
I mean, those are the things I think most people value right now, not only in business relationships and in what they do within their organization, but also within the home and the personal relationships with their families. It's getting harder and harder to do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely it is. And that's one of the big things I'm finding, because I do still a lot of work in schools and working with students, is the distraction factor. They are, they have their watches. And now you say, put your phones away. They're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then they start looking at their watch because they can do other stuff on their watch.
Right.
They are completely distracted all the time. And I have to say this with a grain of salt. There's absolutely no substantiated factor that I can point to or scientific evidence that says this, but I'm thinking 10 years, 15, 20 years down the road, what's, entertainment going to look like? Because we're already remaking movies. We're just remaking things that we've already seen. And how much is that going to change as the generation of creators is just copying things that they've already seen? Because they don't have boredom. They don't have the time for their brains to go, I don't know what to do. I need to go out and do something. Well, in our time, it was very different. It was, if you're bored, then great, go outside and play.
Right.
And it was literally, you had to figure out what to do. So your creativity kicked in.
Right.
And so organizations that are having a hard time or problem solving with issues, if they want to be more creative, play.
Yeah.
Play is a catalyst for creativity. And if you give teams challenges, I've got a number of different challenges that I can have them do. A lot of them are just physical challenges. It comes down to, you can watch how they communicate with each other, but also the creativity with how they solve the problem. Because any problem I give them, there are a myriad of ways to solve it.
Wow.
I know 2 or 3. And I've recently had, I would love it. I had a kid, I was like, you can do it this way, or this way. Because I thought there was only 3 ways to solve this problem. He goes, well, what about this? I was like, I've been doing this for 20 years and I never thought of that before. And some little 7th grader just says, well, you could do it this way too.
Wow.
I was like,
what a great aha.
Yeah.
And the power of what you're doing. You just saw it demonstrated.
Yeah. So just that's just one example. I mean, there's literally thousands of examples I've had in my life where I've watched play change people and add creativity, add that spark of hope, that spark of joy, create friendships, and just break down barriers that it's so easy to divide us, right?
Yeah.
It's so easy.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so glad that you're here today, because, a lot of times we need hope. Every time we face some sort of an illness or disease or something like that, maybe a crisis relationally. I mean, we need hope for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But there are times we just need hope to move us from point A to point B in our lives. You talked about, in the workplace, in relationships at home and stuff like that. In fact, I remember, what you were when you were just talking here, I remember thinking back when I was a boy that we would be bored and we'd say, hey, what do you want to do? And we'd think about what we'd want to do. And the first thing we would, once we figured it out, we'd say, all right, what do we need?
Right.
And then we would go and we'd make it.
Yeah.
We'd go find the materials and we would make it, and then we would go and play. So there was so many elements to what we were doing. And that's what you're bringing into schools, you're bringing into businesses and stuff like that. So, man, that's I love that.
It's fascinating, fun work.
Yeah.
It's very rewarding.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. You've been doing this for quite a while. So what do you think people misunderstand about what you do?
I think the big thing that they misunderstand is, and this is an uphill battle every time I work with an organization or talk to an organization about coming and playing, is they don't see the value in play. They don't see the immediate benefit until they actually see it.
Yeah.
And the hard part is, like I say, well, I can come and play with your team and I can engage them for an hour or 3 hours or 6 hours, or if we need something longer, like let's look at a continuing coaching benefit of I'll come in and play on a quarterly basis or a monthly basis or every other week, and we can talk about things. But they don't see the value. Like, obviously with coaching, you get a return on your investment. We understand that there's a very specific lockstep. Like, if you do this, then this is going to be a result. Yeah. The hard part is that people just think play is for fun.
Yeah.
And they don't understand that play is really serious business. And it can actually catapult your team to levels of creativity and communication that they haven't experienced before. Because everywhere I'm going right now, I posted on LinkedIn this morning about the disengagement of workers and how managers are saying, well, we can't find anybody that's dedicated and hardworking and wants to work. And there's employees that go, well, we're disenfranchised, we're unengaged, and we're undervalued, and we're overworked and stressed out.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, wait, where do those two circles meet? Well, there's a part in the middle where they do meet.
Yeah.
And if we can get them to have a conversation to forget about the work for just a minute and focus on the human being in front of them and say, wait a minute, we're all bringing something to the table. Now, what is that thing? And how does that thing matter to everybody else? Because once you understand your value to the organization, to the people that are, ahead of you, behind you, what your part in the process is, if we can discover that through play and somebody goes, oh, I never realized that you're the one that actually helps me do this thing down here. And like, I couldn't do my job if you don't do your job. Like, I really appreciate you. Well, that little I appreciate you is now starting to show value to another human being.
Yeah.
And you can get that through play in a matter of minutes.
Right. Yeah, I've been in some of your trainings. In fact, we've done a couple of things together where I was the speaker. Yeah. And I actually, on a couple of occasions, said, if I'm the speaker, please have Geoff be a part of that, because what you do makes what I do so much better. And the truth is, you could do what I do. I couldn't do what you do. What you have is a skill, and it's a craft, and you do it very well. And so, but one of the things I've shared with people is the organizations that I work with the best are those that believe that their employees are their greatest asset. And I think when you think about an organization and they think about the things that they use equipment on a regular basis to do what they do, they maintain it, right? They calibrate it to make sure it's always accurate. Yep. They really take time to take care of the equipment, yet we don't take the time to do that to our most valuable asset.
Right.
Which is amazing that people don't naturally see that, but they don't, right? And that's okay. That's just the way that it is.
Yeah.
But I think, one of the things that I hope this will do is help those of you that own businesses out there and that really believe that your employees are your greatest asset, that you'll see this as an opportunity to bring Geoff in. And you and I both know it's not one and done. You don't change an organization or individuals by coming in one time. And you mentioned something just in that a few minutes ago where really people could bring you in on a regular basis, whether it's monthly, quarterly, twice a year, but to be able to be in relationship where they're intentionally investing into their team.
And that's the thing, investing in your team. There's a return on investment.
Right.
If your team has better communication, if they enjoy each other's company, if they're going to bat for each other, you've got a team that's engaged with them, with like the team themselves, but also in the job.
Yeah.
And you create a space where people want to show up. It's not it's Monday. It's it's Monday. I get to go to work.
Right.
If you have that kind of environment, a playful, wonderful environment where people feel valued, where people feel like they matter, and they feel like the work that they're doing has a purpose behind it, and that they're doing something greater than themselves, everybody wants to be a part of a winning team.
Yeah.
I heard a great speaker say that once.
Oh boy.
Everybody wants to win and be a part of a winning team. I think that was Terry Gurno, actually.
It could have been.
It could have been. But I truly believe that we want to win. We want to feel like we're a part of something.
Yeah.
And if the workplace can provide the opportunities for people to engage in the humanity of each other. And it's not like sometimes it is, we need to blow off some steam. Let's cut out and go grab a beer and lunch, right? Whatever. If that's the case, then that's the case. But if that's allowed and encouraged and say, hey, wait a minute, you got to take care of yourself. And because when you take care of yourself, you're going to start taking care of others. And when we take care of others, we start taking care of the team. And then the team starts taking care of the business and then the customers. And it all just rolls and pays forward.
Yeah.
But that the investment in your people is the greatest investment that you make.
Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely believe that. Right now as we're recording this, we're in a shifting market when it comes to real estate, and real estate affects so much in our area, and I know around the country. And I talk to business owners around the country on a daily and weekly basis, and everybody's feeling the shift in the economy right now, everybody. And they're thinking about how do they become more efficient, right? And how do we attract, and more importantly, how do we hold on to good people? And so this has to be part of their yearly strategy. In my opinion, it needs to be part of your game plan for winning in this next year or the next quarter or whatever in front of you is what are we going to do to make that investment to keep our people, to get them highly engaged, highly efficient, and in doing something that they feel is part of something bigger, right? They have like you said, a purpose for their job and their role in the organization that they're working with. And so I can't think of a better time than now and what we're facing to really have businesses work with you, and do what you do. And again, I've been a part of it, so I know the value. I've experienced it, and I absolutely love it. When you go, you start playing, you do a lot. I've seen this. I've been a part of it. You do a lot of things, a lot of exercise. You get people talking and moving and stuff like that. What happens to the people while you're doing this? Because I know there's some chemical things going on in the brain that are very intentional that you're doing. So what happens?
Yeah. So depending on the level of play that people want to do, and I always obviously consult with the client first and say, hey, what do we want to do? How far do you want to push people? And what do you want the purpose to be? Like, is the purpose to build communication? Is the purpose like we just need to have some fun together because, man, it has been a dreary 6 months and we need help, right? And so I think part of it is how hard do they want to be pushed? And there's some physical limits because everything I do is challenged by choice. I want everybody to say, I feel comfortable with this. I can do this, or, oh, that's a little out of my comfort zone. Yeah. And if that's the case, I still want you to observe because I'm going to ask you questions about it. Yeah. Because I want you to be a part of it. And as long as they're part of it, engaged in the process of watching, observing, and then commenting on things and helping to solve the problems that we have, then they're still a part of the activity. Right. And so you did mention the brain release chemicals. Yeah. So endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin. If you can engage those chemicals purposefully, and they are engaged all the time, right? So if I can take a team, so I worked with a real estate team, and it was through a bank, and the front of the house because of COVID, had never met the back of the house people who were doing it. Yeah. So they're like, I know names, but I don't know a face. I have no idea who these people are in real life. And so they said, we need to come in and we're going to do, I think we did a keynote and then we did like 90 minutes of play. And we just they were laughing, they were engaged, and they all walked out and going, I know that person now. And it's not just the name on a paper, it's the face. And I know about their family and I know about where they want to go on vacation. And I know about some of their hopes and dreams and goals because those are the things that we talk about. Right. Because those can help you release oxytocin and create chemical bonds between people where you go, oh my gosh, I genuinely care about that person. Yeah. And the funny part is that can happen so quickly that, I mean, I just did a TEDx in Spokane. Right. Yeah,
I was going to ask you about that. Thank you for bringing that up. No, that's good.
But it was so funny because I was the moment I got on stage, I knew what I was going to do, and I knew that this is something that's never been done for TEDx before, is going to be complete audience participation. Yeah. And I was going for the shortest one, but then I found there was one that was only 90 seconds, and I said, no, that's not going to work. So we're just going to go have fun. And so I said, everybody, we're going to change the world in the next few minutes. I need everybody to stand up. And it was so funny because the moment I said, I need everybody to stand up, there was this groan. Like all these people go, oh, we have to do something. And they stand up and it's like, oh. And I went, okay, it's like you guys have been sitting through like 6 hours of like TEDx talks or something. Like it's time to move. But as soon as I started to have them engage with each other, and not the person that they came with, not the person next to them, I had them mixed with a different partner that they didn't show up with, I couldn't get them to stop. Yeah. And it was a beautiful moment. And honestly, I'm sitting on stage like, okay, I need your attention now. Okay, this isn't working because you're so engaged. I don't care. Just go for it. Enjoy the person. Just have fun. And I loved that moment because it showed how quickly all it takes is that single moment where somebody, you and another person, laugh at something. And in that moment, I've always been told, and I don't know the validity of this again, with the science behind it, but I've always told that if you laugh with another human being at the same moment, it is impossible to hate them. Wow. And if we can look at that, if we can bring more joy and laughter to people, there's hope that we can get along. Yeah. There's hope that we can make the world a better place. There's hope that with all the stuff that's going on in the rest of the world, that we can start to make a difference locally with the people that we interact with on a regular basis.
Yeah. I love the way that you said that because that is so true, and it's what we need right now in our world. Every home, every community, every state, our country, our world. We need to have that hope that we can make this a better place, that we can get along, that we're better together. Right? Our differences are actually, if we bring them, are better. If we will take the time to get to know each other and understand one another, we're better. Man, what a timely message that you have.
I almost wore my shirt that said "Better Together."
Oh, well,
I was like, oh, it's a little tight around the neck. No, I'll wear something a little looser. But
imagine it if you will, folks. Better together,
better
right
together.
There.
Yep.
But yeah, we really are. We're better together, and I'm glad you mentioned TEDx and how that and what happened. again, I don't know how, what people are going through right now. You might be, challenged with an illness right now, or maybe you're walking with somebody that you love and care about, and it's very, very challenging. And I know that, I've been through that. I have friends that have been through that. People have been on this podcast or this show that have been through that, and you've heard their stories. And we want you to know that we understand that, we feel for you. We have compassion, we have empathy, and we want to do whatever we can to support you and hopefully encourage you, maybe even give you some practical tools. And then there's other people that are just they're not facing any of those, and yet for whatever reason, it could be the economy, it could be just the way the world's going, it could be the messages that they're hearing. They're struggling to make it through the day, to try to find something, trying to find hope. It could be a business owner with the economy and all that and what they're facing and the challenges. And so that's why it was so important for me to have you on this show, because wherever you're at, no matter what you're doing, no matter what the circumstance, what you do, getting people to engage, being active together, actually playing, wherever you're at, can spark those chemicals in the brain that give you hope, create creativity and help with communication and connection and all that. Yeah. And so, if you had, well, first of all, what are some of the things that you've learned with the people that you've worked with? Schools, businesses, maybe some of the bigger things that, and this wasn't a question I gave you prior, so I'm asking you right off the cuff, but.
No, I always learn something. I learn people's stories. That's the biggest part, is when I'm playing, I'm actively engaged with another human being, and there's no distractions. And so when you're fully engaged with another human being, you start to get curious. You start to ask questions. You start to find out. And it really just opens up a world of possibilities. Yeah. And I found, and this is something that's fascinating, I've started to do more play in conversations. And I've started it's actually a playful conversation where I will ask something that I'm completely interested in. Because I don't know if you've ever been in a conversation where you start to talk and it's everything you can do to just maintain any kind of concentration on what they're saying, right? And you're just and then it's okay, so what you really said was, and you're just parroting back to what they said, but it didn't really sink in. Now, if you ask a question that you're interested in, now their answer becomes a part of your story. Yeah. And now you're engaged, because whatever they say is new information or a different way that you can look at something. Right. And that can now help you. I don't have to worry about paying attention. I'm completely engaged because I get a benefit. Yeah. I'm getting a benefit out of somebody else's story. And if I can if we can learn to see ourselves in somebody else's story, it completely shifts our perspectives. Yeah. And it creates incredible connections really, really quickly. So I've started having those kind of playful conversations with students and managers and employees and CEOs where I can learn so much, because the older I get, and again, this is one of those things, the older I get, the more I realize I don't know. Yeah, right. The more I'm sure I don't know.
I think we all come to that conclusion, right? We all do.
At least hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. I think that was really powerful what you said, that we learn each other's stories. And I think, really, if we're going to solve problems, if we're going to be there for one another, if we're going to, really help make this world a better place, I think that's really where it starts. And if play gives you that opportunity to learn people's stories, to get to know each other and take us down that road. I know that there are times, and I've worked with people that, business owners and different leaders that view their people as the problem, right? And I know you have too. Oh yeah. And so, one of the things I said years ago, and I say it, quite often, is people are not problems to be solved. They're art to be understood, valued, and appreciated. I really believe that. And I think when we're able to learn somebody's story and we can get them interacting like that and having those conversations where you're actually leaning in because you're interested and not because you feel like you have to, you're obligated, that's a game changer. Yeah. So all of these things happen when you do what you do.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing.
If there was one thing that the listeners and the people watching this show could take away, that you would want them to take away, what would that be?
Seek opportunities for play. And that can mean any number of things that you can do spontaneously that bring you joy and happiness, that help you connect with another human being. Seek those opportunities, and they're everywhere.
Yeah,
they are everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh man, I had a friend who lives over in Seattle, or lived in Seattle, and he was noticing how terrible traffic is. Apparently, traffic's bad in Seattle. I'm so blessed to live here. But he noticed that every single day traffic was just absolutely horrible. So he was thinking, people are flipping the bird and yelling at each other and really aggressive. And he goes, well, I'm going to change my attitude. I'm going to change what I do. And so instead of flipping people the bird and getting angry, I'm going to put on music that I like in my car, and I'm going to smile, and I'm just going to wave. Anybody that cuts me off, I'm just going to smile and wave, and I'm just going to let it go. And he said after about 4 or 5 weeks, because everybody's on the same commute, he started to notice that there were people that would kind of drive up next to him and like try and make eye contact with him, and he'd see him and he'd wave, and then they'd go,
and they would wave back.
And he goes, it just started happening. He goes, and for that section, that drive, the moment I got on the freeway till the moment I got off, it changed. And we had people I have no idea who they are, what they do, anything other than they smiled and waved. And he goes, it made a difference. That was play.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
What a great example where, like you said, there are opportunities everywhere. And what you said was critical, and I hope everybody heard that he decided to change his attitude.
Yep.
That he wasn't going to allow the situation to dictate, his mood, his attitude, his actions, or anything like that. But he was going to take control of that, and he decided to do that. And it worked, and it changed. And not only changed him, but it impacted other people.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times we want, and I know I'm guilty of this, and that we want other people to change before we do. We want to see the change. We want the atmosphere, the environment, the attitude, the energy, all that to change, and then we'll engage. And I remember I was talking to my sister about an organization I was working with, and I really wasn't happy, and I was struggling to be there, and it wasn't the type of place that I really wanted to be at. It wasn't that professional, different things like that. And I remember my sister was really instrumental in me going there, and I called her and I said, Pam, I'm struggling. For these reasons. And I was hoping she would give me a pass. She would say, well, then go somewhere where you feel more comfortable. And she didn't, Geoff. She said, you need to be what you want that office to become. And I'll tell you what, it was the truth, but it didn't feel good, but it was the truth. And I'll tell you what, with that, I decided to change. And that was the beginning of experiencing change throughout the office. It happened in me. I'm not saying our office changed because of me, but I'm just saying I changed. And that was the beginning of experiencing a big change that included a lot of other people. What you just said is so important, that we need to decide, make that decision ourselves. So whatever circumstances you're in, whatever you're going through, and we don't know what they are, we can make that decision to say, you know what, I want to think differently. I want to I want a different mindset. I'm choosing this. And you may not feel like doing it, but once you start, because I've been in some of your trainings, and I've been one of those guys. Like, I like to watch people. I don't necessarily I like to watch people and laugh and go, oh, that's great. And I get a lot of joy out of that. And so I'm not one that just goes, me, I'll do it. I'll do it in front of everybody and with everybody. I'm not one. But when I've done that, when I've chosen to do that, all that changes. And I'm glad I did it. Just like the people at the TEDx. When you did that. What you experience.
And that's, okay, I'm glad you brought that up, because every time I go into an organization or a school or whatever team I'm working with, I will watch. And the biggest thing, the observation that I always make is anybody that walks away and goes, well, that sucked. I'll say, well, did you actually engage? And I can tell you right now, if you engaged, if you actually put in just a tiny bit of effort into making something happen, you will see like a world of change.
Yeah.
And so you said you had to make the change.
Right.
You did it. It wasn't somebody else had to come and talk to me.
Right.
No, you need to go talk to somebody else.
Right.
You need to engage with the person in front of you. And it's not always easy. It's not easy.
Right.
It's like any kind of a journey. Like if you want to get physically fit, you got to actually get up and go to the gym.
Right.
That's the hardest part. Once you're there, it's like, okay, cool. There's other people. Okay, I can do this. But the hardest part is getting out of bed and getting up and going.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's so true. So once you engage, you can really, experience all the benefits of this. And you said that, the opportunity to play is everywhere. You gave a great example. And I know there's, I don't know if it's a saying or what. It's not mine. I heard it. I've used it a lot. And that is, what you focus on expands. Mm-hmm. And so if you're focused on play and finding opportunities to be able to do this, make something fun. We do this a lot with our kids and our grandkids. We make up things on the spot.
Oh, yeah.
We can turn anything into a game. I know men can. That's what my wife has said. Men can turn anything into a game, right? And that's true. But the thing is we are creative. If you're watching this, I just want you to know that you may think you're not that creative, but you are. You are. And so I'm hoping that shifts. Some of you, you are, and you do this a lot. But if you're thinking out there, I'm not that creative, I don't know if I could find anything, you can. And so my encouragement to you is to allow your creativity to engage and take a step. And it all begins with, I want to do this. I want to see a change. I want to experience some hope. I need some motivation. I need whatever I need.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a step to be able to do that.
Yeah. To do the thing is to have the power.
Okay, write that down. To do the thing is to have the power, right? You can quote Geoff, and that's what we call him. His name, you spell his name Geoff, so we call him affectionately Geoff. And so, well, let me ask you this. I know there's probably people watching this that think, you know what, I want to get a hold of Geoff and either talk to you, ask you some questions, or probably even invite you into their company and have you work with them. How do people do that? How do they find you?
So they can find me on the good old interwebs at www.professionalsatplay.com. You can reach me via email at Geoff, that's me, at professionalsatplay.com. I'm also on LinkedIn, and I'm pretty sure that one's Geoff McLachlan. McLachlan like Sarah McLachlan, the singer, same spelling. And then I'm on Instagram as professionals at play.
Great
as well.
And we're going to put those links in the description too, so you can find him. And listen, if you're a business owner or a business leader and you want to do something and make an investment into your people, that's going to be fun, that's going to be memorable, and get them coming together to work better communication, more efficiency, creativity, innovation, all that. Yeah. I want to encourage you to reach out to Geoff and experience what he can bring to your organization. If you're out there and again, many of you, you're going through some pretty hard things, physically, medically, and some it might be relationally or financially or career-wise. I just want you to know that there's hope. And sometimes we have to take the first step in hope and just believing there's hope, believing there's something better. Brad Henry, he's an attorney and politician, said a good teacher can inspire hope, ignite imagination, and instill a love of learning. I just want you to know that's what I see you as, Geoff. You're a great teacher, that you do those things. You inspire hope, you ignite imagination, and you instill a love of learning. And so I can't think of a better thing to give your life to than what you're doing. So please reach out to Geoff. You will not regret it.
And if I can't help him, honestly, I know a lot of people, and I will point you in the right direction, because I'm not for everybody. There are some people that go, you know what, play is just not my thing. And I am more than happy to help them find somebody that can help them, because I want everybody to succeed.
Yeah, and that's a great point. Geoff is a great resource. He's a conduit to help you win, whether it's him providing the service or he's pointing you in the right direction. So, yeah, reach out to him. Let him know what your questions are. I know that you won't be disappointed. So anyways, Geoff, man, what a great morning for me. It's morning right now for those of you listening. I don't know where you're at or when you're watching this, but it's morning right now. But what a great morning to be able to spend this time with you, reconnect again. Yep. And I look forward to working together again at some point.
Heck yeah, man. We'll make the world a better place, help teams win at business and in life.
Yep. Helping you win in business and in life. That's the goal. That's the mission. That's the focus. Well, listen, I just want to say thanks for tuning in. Please, if you know anybody that this podcast, this show could help, would you share this with them? Also, we'd love your comments, your questions, your ahas. And if there's somebody that you know that we should have on this show that could bring some hope to other people, please let us know. Introduce us. We'd love to do that. Once again, you can reach me by emailing me at terrygurno@gmail.com. Look forward to hearing from you. and getting back to you. And again, this has been another dose of hope with Unyielding Hope. We'll see you soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Geoff. Again, we'd like to thank Cornerstone Coaching for their support of Unyielding Hope. So if you're a learning-based business owner or a real estate professional and you're ready to exceed your goals, Cornerstone Coaching is here to help. The changing real estate market challenges can sometimes leave you hopeless or even stuck. And that's where Cornerstone comes in. Their coaching simplifies the real estate process, even in the face of difficulties, to get you unstuck and back on a clear path to reach your goals. So if you're ready to embark on your journey to success, Cornerstone Coaching is offering a complimentary 1-hour coaching session for the listeners of Unyielding Hope to uncover the missing pieces in your business. Contact him today for your complimentary coaching session and let them know that you heard about it here on Unyielding Hope. Take that crucial step towards your brighter future. Hey, thanks a lot for tuning in. I'd love to hear from you, so talk to me. Share your questions, your stories, your circumstances, and most importantly, share your experiences of Unyielding Hope. And please share this with your friends, your family, or anyone else that you think could benefit or be encouraged. I'm Terry Gurno, and this has been Unyielding Hope. Thank you for tuning in.